way back in 1975, I was in Mexico for the very first time, learning Spanish also for the very first time, because I was getting ready to start my first ministry out of seminary when I started a Spanish-speaking church in San Francisco, so I was down there learning Spanish. And I was attending a well-known language school in the small city of Cuernavaca, which is just outside of Mexico City. And while I was going to school for about a 3-month period, I actually lived at a private boarding house. There was a Mexican family who rented out rooms in their house and also provided us meals. And there was a whole community of people, some who were language students, others who were people working in the neighborhood and so forth. And one weekend, 4 of us from that boarding house decided we'd take a little tourist trip together. We got into a car and drove farther south from Cuernavaca to the city of Puebla, Mexico. Puebla is one of the older cities in Mexico. It still has a lot of old colonial buildings from the first Spanish conquistadores, the conquerors and so forth. So it's a very lovely city. And we got there still early enough on a Friday afternoon that we headed straight for the central marketplace, the Zocalo, where the big Friday market was going on, which is always a thrill. We've been to a big marketplace in Mexico or in the Middle East or in Europe anyway. Lots of vendors, lots of booths. People were selling everything. They were selling flowers and vegetable and fruit, and they were selling clothing, and they were selling car parts, and they were selling cell phones. Just a lot of things. You could choose from anything. And of course, all the vendors, as you walk on, they'd all be calling out to you and say, "Come here, see what I've got. I've got the best stuff here. Come on over." Well, we were walking along down through this marketplace, and we turned the corner, and there was a man selling sugar cane juice, fresh crushed sugar cane juice. He had big sticks of sugar cane piled up on the floor, and he would put a big piece of sugar cane in one end of this mechanical device, and he'd turn a big crank, and it would pull it through and smash the sugar cane so that the fresh juice would dribble out into a little jar at the other end of the press. And my friends that I were with, the other 3 friends that I were with, two of whom were Japanese and one was Mexican, said, "You got to try some of this. We've all tried it, so we should try some." Well, I'm up for adventure, so I gave the man 50 cents. And although I noticed that when he was pouring the juice into a glass, I noticed that he only had 1 glass. So that meant everybody drinking that day was drinking out of that glass. And secondly, in between each customer, he would clean the glass. He would clean it with a towel that he had. He would vigorously rub the outside and the inside of this glass with this 1 towel that he had sitting there on the counter. So as I was reaching for the glass, there were little voices in my head saying, "This may not be such a smart thing to do." But it was a hot day, and my friends were standing there, and they had already drunk some of the juice, and I didn't want to seem like kind of a finicky American that was uptight about little things like amoebas and So I drank the juice. And it was okay. It was interesting. It wasn't as good as I thought. It was a little flat tasting, it was too sweet, even though I like sweet things. But it was a hot day. It was good. And it took a maximum of 4 minutes for my body to tell me that it didn't want to have anything to do with that sugar cane. My entire GI tract immediately told me in no uncertain terms that it was going to get rid of that juice just as quickly as it could. So without going into details, I was deathly sick for the next 12 hours. I just couldn't do anything for 12 hours. No sightseeing, no nothing. I just stayed at a friend's house. But fortunately, after 12 hours, I was okay again. And I even had an appetite back. And I went back out on the marketplace and tried something else. Now, the reason that I think about that story this morning is that it helps me picture again what Isaiah, the prophet Isaiah, in my first lesson today, was talking about. Because he's picturing a big public marketplace like that, with all kinds of vendors selling things. In this case, he's thinking of a big Middle Eastern marketplace in Israel or Syria or something like that, with these vendors selling everything. And that God is there in that Isaiah lesson as one of the vendors. God is selling things to drink, and God is there calling out. All the other vendors are trying to get you to their booth. But God calls out and says, "Ho, you that are thirsty, come to the waters, come to the living waters. And you that have no money, come and buy and eat." And then God asks all the buyers a question. God says, why do you spend your money on things that don't satisfy you? Come, buy thirsty. We human beings, we're thirsty. We're thirsty for life. We're thirsty for joy. We should be. God wants us to have life. God wants us to have joy. The question of Lent, the question of this third Sunday of Lent is, why do you spend your money and your time and your life on things that do not satisfy? When you've got God's living water that is given to you for free. Why do you spend your money and your time on things that do not satisfy? If we stay with that image, if we think that life is a marketplace and we're all out to find the things that satisfy us, which we should be, out to satisfy us and fill us, what do we often end up buying and drinking and consuming that ends up not satisfying us as we had hoped? Well, just to use the word, just to ask the question, what do we consume, makes us think that we're a consumer society. This is a consumer society. And there's all kinds of stuff that we can buy, and the stuff always promises that it will make us happy. Every once in a while, when I'm walking around a nice big store like Fred Meyer or Target or Walmart, I try to imagine that I'm a person from a very remote country in Africa or Yemen or someplace, and what a store like that must seem like to us. Or I would imagine that in a time machine I come back, I'm an American, but I lived 100 years ago, and I'm back in this store. Walk around Fred Meyer, something like that, and notice just how much stuff it is. Just shelves and shelves, and literally acres and acres of stuff, all kinds of stuff. Now, I like stuff. A lot of stuff makes me very happy, and I actually like it all under one roof like that. So this is not a diatribe against big stores. But just look at all that stuff there. And so we come to the store looking for stuff to make us happy. Not just stuff we need, but also some stuff that will make our life better. And it does. We buy it and it makes us feel good for an hour, for a day, if we're lucky for a year, and then there's some other stuff that we've got to buy. Now, stuff is good. God gives us things. God gives us life and products and clothing and houses, not just to survive, but God does want to bring joy to us. And so it's not like all these things are wrong. It'd be too easy to just denounce everything as wrong. But the fact of the matter is, the things that God gives us as add-ons, as secondary things to enrich our life, we make the center part of our life. We put our hopes and dreams in. We get all this stuff. We fill our houses with stuff. We fill our lives with stuff. And so God says, Jesus comes to us today and says, why do you spend all your money on things that finally don't satisfy? What else do we consume? What else do we look for as the thing that will satisfy us? I think about the fact that a lot of times, a lot of us are hungry, are thirsty for power and control. We like having control over our situation, which means we also have control over the people around us. Right now, I'm sure a lot of us are anywhere from disappointed to disgusted with what's happening in Washington, D.C. and the gridlock that has happened in Congress. And we each have our own list of who the villains are, and there would be different people on different lists. But the fact is that just nothing is happening. Part of that is because the issues are complicated. So they're not easy issues, but part of it, we just have the sense that it's just a big battle for power. It's just a real fight for control and keep control, and each side wants to control the other. But we see how everything gets gridlocked. Now, we're unhappy about that. But this is Lent. It's time for us to repent too. We have to admit that we do the same thing. In a lot of our relationships, we want control of what's going on. We play power games with the people around us, with family members, with people at work. We like control over each other. Now, once again, power is not by itself a bad thing. God gives us power. God gives us capacity to do things. But God gives us the power to bring life, to bring more to the situation, to serve one another. But so often we get caught up in our own needs